4:30, Rick.
Yeah, okay. Call the meeting to order. And first item on the agenda is to approve the minutes of June 11th.
I make a motion to approve the minutes of the last meeting.
Seconded.
Any comments? Motion moved and seconded. All in favor, raise your hand.
Aye.
Opposed, carried. Okay. New business. North and public dock update.
All right, well, we just made the final payment on those. We held back money for the costs and extra time it took. The transition plates are in place. I don't know if you've all seen them, but they came out really nice. Yeah, everyone seems happy with them. A lot of compliments and people enjoyed the new ramp, especially at low tide.
Yeah,
Still just as long.
They should last a
Yeah,
long
longer.
time. Okay, any other comments? That's an update, John. Is there anything else you want to add?
No, they're everything's done, and like I said, we held back some money from them for extra money we had to spend for storage of the ramp that was built. You know, extra work we had to put in setting up the temporary section multiple times. So,
All right. Marina I presentation. I
Yes,
don't know
hi,
if
how
this-
are you guys today?
Yeah, that's good.
we're good, Nate.
Good. So my name's Nate. I'm from Marina I. And I've developed an application that basically we provide 360 videos of the waterways that lead up to a marina and of the marinas themselves. We don't charge marinas for this. We do all the work ourselves. And then we put the videos that we collect onto our application to compile all the marinas that we can so that users can view this videos in one spot. So as they decide to make their trips either up north to Maine or down south to Florida, they can go and watch these videos to get a better understanding of how it is to make their approach into their marinas. I'm going to share my screen, and that is going to be a live version of what the application looks like. If you guys can all see that.
We can. We've got two large screens to look at.
Perfect. So what you can see here is kind of the home page of the application. You can see it's broken up by states and then marinas. I'll give you just a general quick glance of what one of these marinas would look like. We'll go to Dysart's Great Harbor, which I know is right up by you guys. What you can see when you pull it up is you'll see the address, user ratings, a quick description of the marina. You'll then see a list of videos that you can swipe through and choose which one you want. Below that, you'll have a gallery, which will show slip maps along with other still pictures. You can click on them, make them larger, and blow them up. Below that, you'll have a forum for your specific marina. And then you'll have multiple points of interest associated with your marina that either you guys choose to put on there or someone from my team or I will find areas or close to your area to put on it. I'll give you a quick demonstration of what one of these videos look like because that's the whole purpose of this application. Let's say you're pulling in again to Dysart's Great Harbor and you're going to B Dock. Now there they tell you if you're going to the north side or the south side. So we'll choose the video that states B Dock north side. We'll click on the video. And now if you can see, I'm going to pause it, but this will be the start of the video. With my finger, I can physically spin the camera so I can get a general look at what the area looks like and how I'm supposed to approach. I can see that there's a large breakwater that I'm going to be making my approach to, keeping it on my starboard. As I hit play, fast forward just a little, you can see the camera makes an approach as if you were on the vessel itself. Again, I can spin, look left. I can see, all right, I have a pretty good clearance from this dock over here off to my port. You can see there's a pretty large turning basin here that I can use to turn around into back down into my slip. As I start coming closer, I see I just pause the video. There's a little orange ball here. I'm not sure if that is a lobster trap or a mooring ball, etc. But it gives me a little better understanding of kind of how it is to make my approach and the different obstacles that might be in my way as I'm making my approach. I'll continue the video, and you can see it's going to take me right down into B dock. I can see here it's labeled B dock. And as I come in, I can see the condition of the slips. I can see the size of the slips. I can see other boats that are currently in their spots to get a general understanding of what my boat might be like if I was to pull into there. I can easily spin around. Again, get a 360 tour. I can do it while it's paused, while it's playing. I can spin around. And it just gives me a better pre-visualization before entering these marinas. That's a very quick overview of the application. I don't want to take up a lot of your time. For a few facts about it, we don't charge marinas to be on it. The whole goal of this is to make boating safer and more enjoyable and less stressful for captains, especially for those people in the 40-foot to 90-foot range, where those are more likely to either be owner operators or captains that don't necessarily have a large amount of crew on board to help them come into the dock. They'll have to kind of already be set up and know where their lines and fenders are going to be, where their turning areas and radius needs to be, and they can get all this information or more than they currently can using this application. Does anybody have any questions?
Are those live videos or is that a film? One shot deal?
Yeah. So it's a one-time film that either myself or somebody from my team would come out to your marina and capture. We would have a specific video for each dock. As you can see, if I was to go to this video, it would take me to the fuel dock and C dock. And so it would be a slightly different video that would be designated going down to that area instead. We'll also have here, you can see the Southwest Harbor Channel. I'll just pull it up real quick just so you can see. It's as you guys probably know this area well, but it's well out at the start of the channel before you go through the mooring field. So they have a good understanding of how to make their approach to the marina, and then once they get to the marina, to their slips.
How many of these do you have up and down the coast between here and Florida?
Yep. So currently we have 30 filmed and on the application. We're in the talks of working with a few others. We have some in the Bahamas as well. I got a Zoom meeting with them next Monday. They got about 30 marinas a part of that organization. So we're trying to get them. And then we're going to be reaching out to Safe Harbor and Suntex. We have not reached out to them yet. We're waiting for the application to go live before we reach out to them. Our application is supposed to go live sometime either the end of this month or beginning of October in preparation for the Fort Lauderdale Boat Show.
Nate, I have a question for you. This is Howie.
Hi.
I appreciate you coming and showing us all of this and, and trying to get our buy-in and all that. But I'm just wondering, do you need our permission to do this?
Yeah, so I would need permission because I am filming a layout of the marina and putting it online. It is technically could be considered surveillance. And so some states I don't necessarily have to, but I'm trying to go by the book, and I'd rather get the marinas on board. Because if I get them on board, they'll be able to give me more information about their marina that's helpful to their boaters. So for instance, you guys might have two channels that pull into your marina, but one is more heavily trafficked, and better, and you guys keep it dredged. So you'd rather that one put onto the application. So I can get better information from you guys if I have your consent.
Sure. Yeah, I was just figuring you're just cruising around with a drone, so it wouldn't matter.
Yeah, again, because I'm at a certain height, and putting it online kind of is mapping out how to get to your marina. Again, in certain states, it's considered surveillance. So I figured just make it easier for myself and just get consent from everybody I speak to.
Yeah, I was just curious, that's all. Thanks.
Yep.
It's not a constant live feed, you're just doing this one video and that's it.
Correct. Yeah. So it would be one video. However, anytime you guys had either the channel change, you guys update your docs, etc., or have massive construction, as long as you guys sign up before October 15th, you guys are grandfathered in as into that no charge fee. And then someone from my team or I would come out to you guys and refilm your marina if you guys have any changes. Or if there's no changes, at a maximum of every 2 years would come in and retake the film.
So the user pays for this service?
Yep. Yeah. So the user pays for a regional service. Currently have the United States priced at $8.99 per month, or $80 a year. And then if you include the Bahamas in that package, it goes up to $10 a month or $100 a year.
And what would be any fees that we would incur? You've already mentioned one.
For the marina, there's no fee for the marina if you guys sign up prior to October 15th. Not now or ever. Say it again?
After October 15th, then what would happen?
Only if you signed up after October 15th. If you signed up after October 15th, there is a fee for us to come back out to you guys and film your marina, just because it does take time and effort for someone from my team to come out to you guys. But it's not a very significant fee. It's about $400 to $500 for us to come out to get you guys onto the application.
So are you suggesting right now, like there's someone else in the area that's already paying that fee and we would just be grandfathered in because you want to get us on board quickly? I don't understand what the time limit is here.
Yeah, so because I'm in the area right now, and working out of New England, I can easily come up to you guys. After the October 15th, I'm down in Fort Lauderdale gearing up for the boat show, and then we're trying to head over to the West Coast for the following spring and summer.
And what about next year then? When will you be back up here then and you could film it? Well, honestly, I just think October 15th is a really quick turnaround for this committee to make a decision.
Oh, I don't.
For sure. I mean, again, if you guys seem interested in, I can always work with you guys. The October 15th has been a deadline for me because it's easier for me to get to you guys now. It's also in preparation for the Fort Lauderdale boat show. And then I don't necessarily have to think about it in the spring to come back and get you guys.
Nate, give me a minute. I'm Rick Savage, the chairman. I'm gonna ask for a consensus and we can move along.
Sure.
Does the board have any objection or want to approve this?
I'd like to approve it, I think it's a great idea.
I'd like to approve it. It seems like a nice service, as long as it doesn't cost us anything.
If it doesn't cost us anything.
I'm gonna ask for a motion.
All right, accept it.
Move to approve this arrangement.
I make a motion to approve this arrangement.
Okay, seconded.
Yeah.
Any other discussion?
So in the arrangement being, to allow the filming of the marina layout
Right,
At no cost to us.
at no cost to us.
And be in the act and all that.
well, yeah. Okay. All in favor, raise your hand. Opposed?
Hey.
Yeah. I think that was Bill. Yeah, I
Yes.
think you're on board, Nate.
Donna was somewhere in there for a while.
Oh, I haven't seen it.
I raised my electronic hand.
Okay. All right, I think if Nate's still on board, I don't see his photo. As
Yeah, I'm right here.
far as the Harbor Committee is concerned, go for it.
There you go.
All right,
And we-
sounds good.
And we haven't heard all of your presentation.
Yeah, we know.
Yeah, yeah, again, that's pretty much the majority of the application
Oh,
as
good.
far as you guys are concerned. We do have other forum section polls, et cetera on the application, but that's the majority of the marina part.
Are you the software engineer?
No, I'm just the CEO and owner. My parents helped me with the software and then hire out some other contractors.
Okay, we're gonna move along, but you can deal with
All right.
John, the Harbor Master, and thank you.
Perfect. Thank you guys so much for your time. Have a good day.
Okay,
You can unshare your screen, Nate, so we can continue. Thank you.
all right, so we've got probably the topic that's most important right now is our summer rates. And I would actually add winter rates. Will be part of the discussion,
It's too late to raise winter rates for this season.
okay?
We generally do winter rates in the spring.
Okay, fine,
And I think we did discuss them last spring and we decided to make no change, but we can discuss those again in April or May.
You went up 10%. When we did summer rates. In the summer, we went up 10%, in the spring, we went up 10%. We went up in commercial, everything. In the last 2 years, it took over 2 years, in 2 calendar years, but we went up 10% on everybody's rate.
okay. So go ahead, John.
So as far as summer rates, we didn't do a rate increase for this season that we're just getting through, so it's been a couple of years, but we did do a fairly substantial 10% rate increase season before. Our rates currently sit at $3.30 a foot for anything under 50 feet. For 50 to 60 feet, we're at $3.80 a foot. For over 60 and under 100, we are $4.30 a foot. And anything over 100 feet, we are $5 a foot. I looked around, there's really only 2 other places in the area, it's Dice Arts and Front Street Shipyard that are really any type of competition for us. The Bar Harbor Town Dock only has a couple of slips, they kind of run neck and neck with our prices. And the other place over there is just out of control, $10 a foot, no matter what you are.
In Bar Harbor,
Yeah,
at the private one.
at the private one, the West Street place,
That's how much they
they
get.
get $10 a foot and.
Yeah.
And it's, yeah, it's not even a thought.
So what's
So-
that?
Dice Arts currently for anything under 50 feet is 50 cents a foot higher than us. For stuff that's 50 to 60 feet, they're 27 cents higher than us. 65 or 60 to 100 feet, they're 27 cents higher than us. And over 100 feet, they're 50 cents higher than us. My suggestion would be that we do a 15-cent increase and across the board,
Why not 50?
because it
We
would
got
put us,
25 and 50 on the high.
it would put us above Dice Arts, and we're a municipal marina, and we're not here to
No, but I mean, you were saying we were 25 cents lower,
27 cents lower,
and then on one, we were 50 cents lower.
or 50 cents lower.
On the big ones.
So
I
you,
said, why wouldn't we match?
So here's the other piece of this. if you get a seasonal slip at Dysart's, it is far cheaper than us.
Okay.
Daily, we're cheaper. Seasonally, there's quite a bit of difference.
Awesome, thank you.
So I think if we do a 15-cent increase across the board for dockage rates, Dysart's is really our only competitor.
So, we have a lot of repeat customers, John, I know, and, have you had any, complaints about our rates?
I haven't had a complaint about a rate increase in over 10 years.
You to go to.
So-
It's under $10.
It is, and even $7 to $8, $10 a foot in some of those places down there, but.
Yeah.
And our revenue is, covering our expenses?
Yes, and we're putting money away for all of the CIP stuff, and we're also putting at least $100,000 to $200,000 in the undesignated fund every year that goes towards funding like the north and public dock expansion that we just did. That all came, we wrote a check for that. We didn't borrow any money. That was $400,000 that we spent to do that without any borrowing.
I like the idea of being competitive, and I like the idea that we're in the green. So,
From what I saw this summer, of course, I won't really, the first number that I'll see that gives me any inkling of what kind of summer we had will be when I pull numbers for the calendar year to pay our submerged land lease.
yeah,
That has been going up every year since it started.
how much do they go up?
It doesn't go up, it goes up on us making more money. They
Oh,
take
oh,
a flat, they take 4% of everything for recreational, and they take 2% of commercial in the winter.
I think the modest increase that you mentioned is good. You
It'll
don't wanna hit people with something too hard.
equate to a pretty decent increase next year.
I make the motion, we accept Harbor Master's proposal, 15 cents per foot across the board.
I also would like to talk about shore power.
Okay, what can we do?
Let's do this first. I like that idea first. There's a motion on the floor,
I'll second it.
moved and seconded to raise the rate 15 cents per foot across the board. Is that understood? Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, raise your hand.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, everybody's approved. Now, go ahead, John.
All right, so shore power. So 30 amp per day, we're $17. 50 amp, we're $28. 100 amp, we are $50. Great Harbor Marina is $8 more per day for a 30 amp. They're $7 more per day for a 50 amp. And they're $25 more for a 100 amp. We do not offer three-phase power. I would suggest that we go up $3 on the 30 and 50, and we go up $10 on the 100 amp.
So move.
Second.
Moved and seconded. $3 on the
10 and
10 and
$3 on the 30 and the 50,
okay,
and $10 a day on the 100.
everybody understand that? Moved and seconded, discussion? All in favor, raise your hand. Opposed? Carry.
Rifling through this stuff.
And that's it for summer rates.
What about can we talk about houseboard? Well,
Could you have a way of kind of calculating what it costs us?
Electricity?
Yeah, I mean, for a unit like that, but
We used to have the ability to meter them. We don't buy metered pedestals anymore because we don't use the metering system. We just do a daily flat rate. But it used to be that we're always making money on the daily charge. You know, I can't remember the exact amount that I put aside for electricity down here, but it's about $75,000 a year. We're covering our cost. And then some, we're making profit on our,
And paying for our
Yes.
power.
and we're paying for all of the power in the marina that it uses. And just all the streetlights and everything is being paid
Buildings.
for by the money we make off the dock.
And the
their
visitor center,
office.
correct?
And the office, the visitor center, the yachtsman's building, the power is being covered. And then some by what we're making off of it. And the majority of the money we make is from the summer stuff. In the winter time, we cover our cost. And make a little bit of profit, but we're not making the amount of profit that we're covering in the summer. Because in the winter right now, we charge $175 for a boat to plug in for its block heater. I mean, any of these, you know. It's
You'd be
it's a
through
huge
that in a
difference.
month.
Oh, you know, a handful of days.
Yeah.
You know, some of those big boats are plugging into 100 amps a day, so, you know, they're $100 a day, so, and they're here for, you know, 45 plus days. It heads up pretty quick.
Most of them shut their lights off at night, because that's the neighborhood thing to do.
Right? But we're
Yes.
covering our cost and then some.
Yeah, great.
Bill, you got a question? No, I guess
And
not.
I could even, it's more than enough to cover the cost for the Bartlett's power and Seal Harbor when it has power.
Save money there this year, right?
How about the dinghy docks,
What about
the cost on,
electricity?
no, the charge for those, is that gonna go up?
There is no charge for dinghy dock,
Oh,
Just
no
for the
charge?
outboard.
just for the
We
airport.
bumped that up to like $200.
It's $1,000 a year.
We did that 3 years ago, 4 years ago.
It's been a handful of years.
Does it make sense to bump it up?
It is more expensive than a seasonal 100 series mooring, which would equate the same size boat.
$600.
Those are 800.
800.
Yep. It's $200 more than a mooring rental, but
Actually, I thought this summer it wasn't as bad as it has been.
the outboard float has not been as busy as it has been.
You mean the one in front of your office?
Yeah, I don't know what.
Well, even the other one, I thought was,
You mean the skiff, like where we tie it? Depends what day it is.
where you were. Which will bring up the next subject, I hope.
well, we've got some other things to discuss here. Chris handed out a sheet here. Do you want to talk about this, Chris?
So what this is kind of has two-pronged approach. One's needing a revenue and getting up the town's money kind of ahead, and then it's also giving the harbor master a little more power on enforcement of things. So like Southwest Harbor, if you leave your boat, it's $150 penalty. If you leave property left, it's $150. And they flat out say, any unpaid user fees result in loss of harbor privileges done. They kind of had an aggressive approach to cleaning up people leaving their trash, their skiffs. We have a problem with the dinghy dock. There's no enforcement to speak of. People don't even get their stickers. Half of them down there didn't even get their sticker, which is free. You just go in, get a sticker. Makes it easier for harbor masters to go down. This way, he could write a ticket. They don't pay their tickets, so the tickets can build up. I mean, surplus is $150, like every 24 hours, you leave it. Boom, boom, boom. You know, repeatedly, not a $20, $50 fine. And they don't, that's how they cleaned up, got people to have their stickers.
You're talking about the commercial.
Commercial, but this is to all fees. So if you're leaving your trash by, you know, the hoist, this is going after, so this is like multiple pronged of user fees, whether it's your registration, your fees you tie up, your usage fees, you have to be current and up to date. And so if you're a repeat offender just leaving your boat, they hit you with these fines. And then you have the loss of the privileges if you don't pay the fines, but they're hefty enough that it hurts. So I found out that we were owed, Genya had gone through and found that we've been owed money, sometimes outstanding, not severe, John, and it's mostly, I think, on the commercial end, right?
Mostly,
Most of it's on the commercial, but things got out and we're not charging interest after 30 days. So we are an enterprise like any other business. And people don't pay, if you're not gonna send them, there's no motivation for people to pay, there's no penalty. It's just, oh, throw it aside, throw it aside, throw it aside.
What do you mean by paying?
So an invoice, a bill you received.
Like for slip or mooring or?
So on the slip, so then after you, so you, at the end of the month, the harbor master can send out a bill, the office, like every other business, you get a monthly statement. So after that statement, you have 30 days to pay that. If you don't, and after 30 days, interest will be applied. Now, if you go 60 days after that, and this also, what I'm trying to get, will be part of an ordinance change, but we start with the financial aspect of it. Is that even if it's a ticket or a letter, say, John, I know we have two folks, there's an illegal quote out here, it's been here 2 years. We just went, we had a meeting about it, nothing gets done. Eric's the only one that moved this, just probably because he's on the committee. The other one's been left with granted permission, they didn't clean up what they had, and we won, this is totally illegal. John could, was nice about it, this is gonna give him more effects, and then he has to, in so many days, like, if you get a letter or notice, after you get that letter or notice, you have X amount of time, unless otherwise specified, to make an arrangement with him to rectify the situation. And if you get fined for certain problems or that, then you lose the rights to the privilege of it. Now, there's no, a lot of the stuff we can pass or say or do stuff, there's no recourse, and it doesn't get enforced.
I thought in our ordinance, there was stuff that said loss of harbor privilege.
If he has to document in a letter.
It's like a 3 or 4 step process to get to that point, and it starts with a verbal, then a written letter, and then
It doesn't have to be
a
verbal
fine,
or
and then
written.
you gotta go through at least 3 steps before you can.
How many offenders do we have?
Well, half the dingy docks down there don't have a sticker.
Well, I guess I've forgotten that. I was thinking of the big one.
Yeah,
Got 11 offenders. Now, some of these offenders have been on the list, they've owed the marina money since before I started working for
Offenders of what, not paying?
them. They're not paying for slip services.
So is. So it, more than a year, do we let people, if I don't pay my slip fee this year, can I come in next year and just come into my slip?
No. So the invoices that went out on September,
Howie, wait a minute.
the invoices that went out on September 1st have the letter that goes with them, that there will be no winter slip given until 2023's 2023-24 season has been paid for.
but that is new this year, that had not been enforced.
I've never sent the letter, but I never have let them come back.
There was
So all
One
these
guy
boats
owed
that,
3 years, Jay said.
who?
One boat owed 3 years. Didn't pay for 3 years down there.
Oh.
It's right from your office manager. It's what started this conversation. He didn't tell me the name, and I didn't want to know.
Yeah,
And
so
the other
yes,
thing
you
about-
are correct. There is one that's owed for multiple winters.
So if you don't, there's no recourse, then why would you pay them? Push it aside. There's no interest built in, there's no penalty.
I didn't know that was an option.
So, yeah, so also, also around here for the seasonal, so someone to come in to incentivize the seasonal list. I would say that if you sign up, you have a rentals agreement and you agree to pay from X date to X date. You're responsible for that. And I think if you want to be entitled to have your slip for the following year, you pay for the full year in advance. So if you want the right for each season to come back, you pay for your slip. I want the privilege to have that for the whole season, which is a waiting list to do, and it's hard to get in that, some people get turned away. And if you can't fill those days, or you have to back out of that, you're responsible for the days that the harbor master can't fill.
Are you talking like summer or fall,
Both.
winter, both?
So
everything?
winter, so if I say, I sign a rental agreement, I'm taking on that responsibility. But I think if you were gonna be like, that is my slip, how we cut all the slips, we go to the same year, you should have to pay for
Don't we normally I feel like I get a bill for the whole thing when
You
I,
do. You get a whole bill in
Not
October
a
for
monthly
whatever
thing.
you put in for. Some people stroke a check right at the beginning, the whole thing. Some people pay monthly. Some people will pay, I wanna pay up to December 31st, because it covers that tax year, and then they come in early January and they'll pay the remainder of the winter. Then you have some that just, I get a check for $500 every couple of months, they just, by the end of the season, it paid for. There's a handful that have not been paying until it's time to come back for next year because
That's what I like to do.
Not good.
Yeah, it seems like
And it should be the same for everyone. If
maybe
you don't
pay when you get the bill for the year, and if you're not,
And,
if-
if.
at least commercial,
yeah,
if somebody's
you know,
coming in October first and they don't have the money in their
they're
checkbook
holding them,
October first.
holding
they're not
them
gonna
to
have it.
account for 8 months worth of stuff before they've used it.
Yeah, but you're given that spot, you're holding a spot.
Yeah.
If you can only pay for 2 months, then 2 months, because if someone else wants to come and pay you for the 2 months after that, we're farther ahead. And there's gotta be a standard for everybody. This one gets guy this, one guy that, is, I mean.
John, I'm gonna ask you, is this make it difficult for your bookkeeping system to apply these rules?
I don't know how the interest thing would work. I'm
I-
sure that
Matter of
it's,
fact, I have a little different feeling as a former businessman. It's a little difficult to justify interest. You can say, I'm charging interest, but sometimes you have to,
It's right in the QuickBooks system, you add it right.
well,
up.
I understand QuickBooks, but I'm talking about legally to collect interest.
Yeah.
It's not as easy as you think.
John, if I rent a slip down there for the summer.
Yeah.
Is that money paid in full? Do those people pay in full when they?
some of them pay as soon as they get the bill. Some of them pay the day they leave.
So if you, but I'm saying is trying to promote, like, if you want your slip for the whole season, you should pay for it.
I think that is totally legitimate. I have a little trouble with this interest thing because it's a pain in the neck.
Do we have trouble with, is this a winter trouble that people don't pay, or is it like, the summer season too?
It's mostly all winter. And it's not that we've always gotten paid, but we have to wait for the money.
And Jenny said some yachts are good, and some that wait months, they're gone, but they do pay, they pay, but still. When you're talking some tens of thousands of dollars at what the interest rate is now, I mean, some people don't, do that, some businesses do that.
How hard it would be to implement. If you rent an apartment, you gotta pay monthly,
First and last.
yeah.
Oh, no, maybe not last, security
first and
deposit.
last.
I don't think you can
First
say
class
last anymore. I think it's a security deposit.
The summer has never been an issue.
Yeah.
So, you know,
It's the
at
winter.
most, if they leave in September and, some of these boaters, they're not the ones picking up their boat and leaving. They may have gone home, a week ago and someone comes and picks the boat up. I send the invoice. Usually within 30 to 60 days, the check shows up, it's all paid.
Yeah.
It's not an issue.
Yeah.
The biggest issue is the winter stuff that trickles over until the start of the next season.
Yeah.
And it's probably the same offenders.
And so that's where back to the 60 days, like, so they get out too far, and you go, hey, you're out.
So hold on, so do they need a space in the summertime?
Who?
The people that are not paying in the winter?
No, the fishermen go out to their moorings. 'cause
Okay.
they Don't wanna pay the summer rate.
Alright, so the problem is primarily in the winter at this moment.
Yes.
Yeah, every one on this list says winter next to it.
Okay, alright, so this
Because
isn't,
I don't consider any of the summers to be
I understand, they're not,
overdue
yeah.
because the summer's still going, the boats are still here.
yeah, I'm
you
with you,
know,
I'm with you.
yeah.
Okay, so. Can we do something where?
Let me have a
where
chance.
there's-
I have a question.
Yeah, where there's either, I don't wanna say a penalty, but a benefit if they paid early. So they could pay early and they would get a benefit.
They can use the marina, that's the benefit.
And- Okay, or you just, if they don't pay for the last month or whatever, if they don't pay in time, can you just put them to the bottom of the list for next year or something? Or,
I think that's what we're here to figure out, what you guys would like to do.
I'm gonna say, if somebody who goes fishing, there's a much better chance of getting money out of me October first than there is May first.
And there's nothing like, it's kind of you're guaranteed your slip, it's like a verbal understanding that you had your same slip, but I think if you paid for it, that's your sort of, hey, you pay up for
Right.
that, we're gonna guarantee you that next year for the season you
Well,
go.
here's another thing, summer reservations, when I take a reservation, I also take your credit card number, the expiration date, and a little 3-digit number. If you don't pay, I have the ability to run it. I would prefer that you send me a check. I will wait a month and a half to 2 months for a check instead of using your credit card, because it's cheaper for us to accept the check. But I have that as a fallback. That's one thing that we have never done and don't have for winter slips.
We don't charge at the town office for usage of the credit card?
We do not. Marinas generally don't charge a fee, and that's a complimentary thing that we eat. It
So I
costs
should-
us,
So I should.
it
pay on my
costs
credit
us
card.
between $10,000 to $12,000 a year to eat fees. But we accept hundreds of thousands of dollars in credit cards.
So I should be paying on my credit card.
You could, I would not charge you an extra fee.
Awesome.
Build up your miles.
Yeah.
But I would prefer if you paid with a check or cash.
So what you're suggesting is we could do that for the winter people?
Well, it's a way.
Yeah,
Why can't
that
we-
seems like a really reasonable thing.
No matter what, why can't we send out monthly bills? Just change it.
We do send monthly invoices.
That's a hassle.
Every month we send bills.
But you wouldn't have to, if we
It's
said,
not
hey,
a big deal.
the whole season, you pay ahead to retain your slip. You get paid up front
Or he just takes it out of your credit card.
every month.
Well, yeah, he said he'll bill by the month, right?
Well, we do bill every month.
Yeah.
And a lot of
When you,
people
when you get a chance, I'd like to ask a question.
send that check. You know, we get a check every month from somebody.
Go ahead, Donna.
So
Yeah.
I just want to understand, are you suggesting that winter and summer, people pay in advance for the length of time that they're gonna stay?
On arrival. Well, after
Upon,
signing-
upon arrival, that's why I want to make sure I'm understanding. Upon arrival, you want winter and summer people to pay for the entire length that they're signing up for. If it's
I
all
think,
summer or all winter, you want it paid in full the day they arrive.
I think we're more talking about winter, because that seems to be the problem, not summer.
Yeah, the
Right, but
summer
it-
people
I
also
was-
incur, they
Yeah,
charge.
but
ice-
what I was hearing was that you wanted it to be consistent for all people.
I think I disagree, Donna. I think we're really talking about the winter offenders. The winter,
But I was trying to make it a universal across the board, and so like some people have 3 or 4 slips that they have every year, get the same slips. Without paying a fee for retaining that, they're just giving it because they've rented it the last few years. I thought it'd be an incentive and help the town get all your money up front. If they want to buy ice or get something, that can be charged in a monthly statement, like on everyone's accounts open, I mean, it's QuickBooks, it's got it all down. It'd just be a way, okay, if you want that slip for the whole season, you pay for it.
It does seem it would, if you're gonna do that to the winter people, it does seem fair to do it to the summer people too, because why wouldn't you, you know?
But like
It's
John
way
said,
more complicated for the summer.
John has the summer credit card, so in theory, unless they cancel their credit card, you're gonna get your money.
Yeah, I was
But
just
it's
trying to understand what was on the table here.
I'm just talking about ones going the whole season, and in the pamphlet I said, all billed monthly. So each month, if they're just here, if they're not booking for the whole season.
I'm just talking about the ones that are abusing the system, and it's always the same
Rick
ones.
Savage,
Oh, yeah.
Eric Jones,
Yeah.
I don't know, Chris Moore.
Oh, yeah.
I heard.
Hi. Put it on mute.
So they caught you.
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead.
I
Wait
don't
a
know.
minute, wait. He's got the floor.
I'm at Dysarts. I have a seasonal slip rental there. I have to pay half in January and the second half in April, long before I actually arrive at the slip. And I think we should come up with something that works good for John, that makes it easy. And I can only assume there's always gonna be a couple exceptions with a few
You mean
people,
Virginia.
and you would use your discretion.
Yeah, I mean, the summer is not an issue for me.
Yeah.
There's way more going on in the summer, you know. Things happen, you know.
Thank you for,
People have to leave early. And, you know, we do have a cancellation policy in effect. If somebody cancels out and leaves earlier than what they've scheduled, if we can't fill it off our wait list, we charge them. It's just, the summer is not an issue for me.
You said you had a 10.
We have a 10-day cancellation policy.
I'm just,
So
so
if you-
my change to that is just that if they said, hey, I'm here for the whole season, and they leave, they should pay the days that you can't rent.
That's what I just said, what we do, if they cancel and they have 12 days left. 10 days of those are within that policy that I'm gonna say, if I can't fill them, you're charging, I'm gonna charge you when we do.
But away for up to 10 days.
Yes, anything beyond that 10 days is out far enough that I've got plenty of time to fill it. I had anywhere from 5 to 20 people per day on our wait list all season long. It's not a problem filling something.
So why would
Usually
people pay
within
ahead?
15 minutes of somebody canceling, I've got a boat that wants to slip.
So that's another reason to get her money up front and
So
have
it's-
keep people up current, because like you said, there is demand. We know some people kindly pay ahead. Be less paperwork for you. Jenny, I mean,
But, I mean, it might be a whole new system for him to
It's-
implement.
it's all QuickBooks.
But it's, you know,
However he does it, so.
But
Jenny, that's it. Always the QuickBooks guy.
our problem right now is the winter.
it really is. Summer
Yeah,
is not an issue for me, and I think it's not a cookie cutter thing that you can implement something that's gonna cover the winter and the summer.
I agree.
They're two separate animals.
So could we, I mean, what about the loss of the use? So we don't know about the interest, right? You wanna think on that or get an opinion or note interest?
I think you're getting a can of worms when you start charging
I
interest.
think the first solution was gonna be that he gets credit cards and he just charges the credit cards for the money, so he gets it within 2 months or so.
Okay, so what about the lost use facilities, people that have received a letter to correct what they're doing? And lost use rate for, after they get the letter or unpaid, paid fines, fees.
I'm all for it.
So can we,
Do you need that in writing, John?
we need a motion, then we'll go to the ordinance.
I was gonna say, I almost think it's gonna have to be something that goes into the ordinance before it can really.
But where it's collection and voluntary fees, we can vote on that, where it's fee adjustment, and you can enforce it unless it's legally challenged after we make a motion and vote on it. And we'll change our ordinance accordingly.
Go ahead and vote on it. I can get an opinion.
Yeah.
I just don't wanna pull something that's gonna get us in a mess, but. Until we've got it.
Stay away from
black
that
and white.
interest stuff right now, I'm telling you.
So we have a motion, can we have a motion, a motion to approve and a second for the second paragraph? And then we'll go to the winter monthly.
I'm unclear what you want us to vote.
So I'll
Can I
make a motion that loss of use of marina facilities after 60 days of receiving notice of money owed or corrective actions needing to be done. Removing your derelict flow, registering your mooring, inspecting violation, unless otherwise specified by the harbor master.
I thought we already had that in the ordinance.
We don't, what we have,
Not for not paying fees and stuff.
if you can get.
I'm in favor of what he's trying to do there versus the interest. The interest thing would be,
Oh,
it is complicated. And it's,
That sounds fine to me.
Second,
Second,
Okay, we're voting on paragraph 1, actually,
two,
2,
So
well,
first
yeah,
one's interest.
all right,
Second one's
I
interest.
agree,
loss of use.
lost of you.
Yeah.
Any other discussion? All in favor of this paragraph to be applied to our rules and regulations? Raise your hand. Opposed? Carry.
Now, the third one, we were talking about the billing, what's our thoughts on the apply to the winter? Requiring a credit card or paying up front if you get for the whole season?
I think the credit card thing is a huge thing.
Yeah.
I
Let's
mean,
go with
that
that.
I think
solves
that's
all
the-
my problems
I
in
think
the
that's your
summer,
guarantee right there.
you know.
Okay, so I make a motion that with this rental slip agreement, a valid credit card number be provided to the harbor master.
Sure.
Do you need my credit card if I just bring you a check?
Not if you pay in full.
You're gonna give me your credit card number when I call you and say that your slip is confirmed. I take reservations for
And you can
summer.
bring a check in and it doesn't get applied to your credit card.
Unless John takes.
Can
off.
we do it with
When
a-
I call to
Get the
confirm
miles.
saying, Eric, your slip has been confirmed for blank to blank, I need a MasterCard or Visa number
To hold it.
Hold, yeah.
to hold it.
Right.
So is that,
And then-
could you put that on the rental agreement form, or do you?
It is on the summer one, I can add it to the winter.
And then after, when do you start charging, like if I come in October first, I don't know when I get my first statement.
I don't
from you.
wanna run manual credit cards. I don't wanna do it if I don't have to. It's not until
You're
you
forced.
haven't paid and you've had adequate time when it's time
They all know when they're in violation anyway.
If somebody doesn't pay, then the paragraph that we just voted on kicks in.
Correct.
Right.
So I may make a motion that to require credit cards to be given with rental agreements.
I'll second that.
Moved and seconded, we're applying the credit card as a backup. All in favor, raise your hand. Opposed? Carried, thank you.
Do people keep those updated credit cards, so that they run out, or?
Well, I would take a new one every year. We don't store them. We keep those files for, I think, 7 years and they get shredded. You know, there's no electronic credit cards kept down there anymore. We used to, but banking laws made us remove all those like 7-10 years ago.
So are we charging, one question, are we charging in the summertime for the tenders that can't be kept on the vessels? The ones they tie up to the sides and off the stern, do you charge per foot?
On a hip?
Yeah,
No, we do not charge for,
can we do that? I think we should, because they pull into slips, it takes up a lot more room, it's a lot more usage, if they're not keeping them on board.
if they're tied up to the hip and it's not causing any problem for anyone else, I don't see a reason for,
I just know why the mariners do it, and
if,
I
it takes
agree
up
with
more
you.
space.
if, you know,
They pay a
if
lot.
if it doesn't fit, they generally rent a mooring or a slip from us for it.
Okay.
And it's generally the big boats. I mean, they're paying us huge amounts of money to be here anyways.
Yeah, I don't
see
see it
them
as an issue.
charging them for their, now if another boat comes and rafts up next to them,
That's
they can
different.
charge full price,
Okay,
but we don't charge for.
and rafting on moorings,
Double mooring rental.
awesome.
I don't allow it very often because generally not.
You know, the big boats bring a 35-foot tender.
Or
No
more,
more.
Yeah.
okay. You feel that's helped you, John?
We will see.
We'll see, okay.
No, I think, you know, a little bit of the credit cards for winter.
I think
will-
that's a great
You
idea.
know, if someone knows I'm gonna
Nick 'em.
nick them if they're past due.
But how about getting this mess cleaned up, the illegal floats and stuff, and this will.
Yeah, I mean, I've been on,
I know, but now
Benny
you have,
yeah,
you're
no, I
gone, you
get
can't
you.
use it, you're gone. Clean up, you've been in violation 2 years, now you.
Thanks for the
About a
suggestion.
nice pick down there for the inflatable.
With a 50 horsepower in there, Bluebird or whatever,
Where?
down the fisherman's tie-up, been there for a couple weeks now,
Jesus, don't call
I
it
don't know,
fish,
I
it's
haven't-
not commercial.
just commercial, sorry, commercial.
Well, I'm gonna bring it, it's. We meant to have signs, and they never showed up this year.
I think you're wrong.
Where'd they
When
show
was
up?
the last time you've been down there?
Well, then how come the signs aren't being enforced?
The signs have been down there for almost a month now.
Yeah, I haven't seen them.
I've seen them.
Where on that, it
There's
says,
one in Seal Harbor, there's one in Bartlett's, and there's 2 down here.
it say 30,
It
25,
says 14 feet and under 25 horsepower.
and they're down here on, where I complain all summer about them not being.
They are, it was probably early August before they showed up finally.
I think we should have fines on that, but Southwest did, you have it cleaned up, and now that we can have it, if they don't pay the hefty fines, they lose their rights, I think that would help.
But I noticed, that must explain why the guy who tried to put the 25. Went out and bought stickers that said 2 and 5 on the 50 horsepower. Must be
I didn't see that.
always. Cause I had someone who knows engines, I says, that's a 25, he goes, "Oh, that-" he said, I know that boat, that's a 50. It's a big Zodiac with a diver flag on it, so.
I want
Oh, yeah.
road captains.
That's a good one.
It is good. I
But
like
the
it.
other, as long as he registers it as 25, he can do it.
All you have to do is open the cover and you can find, I mean, it's obvious.
It's always been the length is really what's been the problem, you know, the horsepower.
No, but you get, there's an,
I know.
there's a 14-foot whaler down there now with a 40 horse on it.
Yep.
They shouldn't be there,
No, they shouldn't.
you know? The other thing is, on the public dock, there used to be signs. Commercial to the right, the first two floats were for,
It's
There is-
still there, and
where
there's
we
an arrow that
timeshift up there.
says,
yeah,
points like this and says 17 foot and under 4 hours.
yeah.
Commercial.
I think it's almost time to just make it all 14 foot and not have.
I mean, all that is a concession to Cranberry Islands. That's
Well,
all it is.
well, it could be also these bigger ones that you allow to tie up down there because they come off a fancy yacht. They could be over there, or we could rent them a slip in front of the office.
There was multiples of those big yachts. Now, the transient ones that come in for 2 or 3 days. Granted, they've probably come in and parked and had nothing said to them, but the long-term ones that are here all summer, I made them move over to the outboard float if there was room and charge them.
Good.
So like, I
You work
hope
around
that
it.
next year.
But it is a
everyone should have
tough
stickers.
thing, even though we have the launch boat, when you have someone come in with a 60 to 80 foot boat and rent some mooring from us, most of them have larger tenders than, it might only be a 14 foot tender, but it might have a 90 horse motor on it.
But that's when they should go over to the end of the public float where where that spot used to be.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I know it's a pain in the ass, but it's also a pain in the ass when you have to work around these things all the time. And another sign I'd like to put up is for some people who built their outboards up and then scratched the hell out of everybody else. Down there, there's no reason to have your outboard out.
There is, but it's not allowed.
Not allowed anywhere.
But, you know,
No, and
I occasionally, when I walk down there, if I'll climb on and push the button, if it will go down, it goes down. If not, you know, it's,
Yeah, but I like Rick's idea, I think we all
A
have
pick.
ice pick.
no, inflatables take up a lot of room.
We gotta make a width is what we need, not so much of a length, it's the width we need to get rid of.
Very entertaining discussion, folks. There's one other topic that I want to bring up, and that's really getting serious about our main pier. And I don't know what stage we're at, but we've got what, a 5-year window now?
We're in the 4 to 5 year window. We're still working off the survey we had done. I've spoke with Greg about it.
Yeah.
Greg is willing to help us put together an RFP to find a company that would be big enough to do the design and oversee the bid process and the construction.
Do we need federal approval to even get started?
There is gonna be permits for all of that stuff, Army Corps,
So I mean,
submerged
that's
land,
part of,
DEP.
that's part of the design process.
That would be all part of the company that we hire to bring us a plan fit to go out to bid.
Can we activate that?
I think we're starting.
Okay, just
This is what-
to ask for a follow-up then.
Can we find out, like, or have a meeting or someone inform us of what monies are available, what CIPs, where we stand, when our bonds being paid off?
Yep.
And what we have for revenue, where we've been putting this all away, where we need to be financially and to meet, we'll say, the $8 to $10 million. So we're not throwing, because we got caught a little bit off guard when the last bid process came in too high, and we were stuck out of time. I'd like to go in knowing what we're asking of the taxpayer and how much it's gonna cost us per year.
Well, we're not gonna ask nothing of the taxpayer.
Well, we represent them by, the operation of the marine enterprise. So
Yeah, but we're not spending their tax dollars at all. This is,
correct, but we have to ask the
Sure.
residents of the
So-
town at town meeting to approve this project. So I'd like to know where we stand financially, because we have all these other CIPs, what we can use.
so I can give you quite a bit of that information now. There's no CIP money involved in the main pier. It's always been an item, just like the 3 buildings down there. There's a little bit of maintenance CIP stuff,
Okay.
but there's no CIP money has been put away to replace that pier because it's such a large investment. It always been bond when replaced.
Right.
There's
So it'll be a fully bonded item.
Not necessarily. We have
Previously, you're saying.
money in our undesignated fund that we will be able to tap for some of that so that we wouldn't have to borrow all of it. The guesstimate from the people that did the inspection, and this was multiple years ago, so bumping that number, I think we're probably looking at pushing $2 million for that pier.
I thought it'd be a lot more than that.
I think it'd be
The
more.
original
2 million?
guess was about $1.5 million, and I've added $500,000 to it. That's a guesstimate. That is something that we're gonna get a price when we're doing this with the company that we hire to design
And what was the term used for what Greg Johnston offered to do for
an
us?
RFP.
Offered RFP.
An RFP is a package that would be put together to help us attract a large company to come in and design, and
And we can.
I already
use
have
survey.
the preference is the guys that did the survey, because I think they did an outstanding job. They're, well renowned in
And
the
they have the
area,
information already.
and they already have seen and looked at our pier. So they would be our first choice.
I'd really like to get the package to Chimbro. I think. that
Well,
maybe
that's the-
something that, a company like that interested in, they have, and the time frame. We can't do what we've done the last few projects we've done. And the time, we have to,
So that's why Rick's pushing. We're about 4 to 5 years out, so we've got a lot of time to do it and do it right, because this is gonna be a massive project. There's gonna be a winter where there's no pier at all. There's gonna be no electricity to the south docks.
Right.
We're gonna have to have some sort of walkway from either the public dock or the north dock to get to the south dock, to be able to at least have the slips usable for slips.
Yeah.
As far as,
I make a motion, residents a priority.
I'll second that.
but, I can get us the amount that we have in our undesignated fund. I just gotta request it from.
I just, my idea is to not let it collect dust.
Yeah.
So can we
Start
make a
moving
motion to
forward.
contact, we need a motion for him to
Yep.
contact Greg Johnston to start,
Right.
or ask how much it'll cost us for him?
So
Or do you
what
wanna
I
make
actually need to do first is I need to get permission from the BOS to reach out to Greg Johnson about potentially getting an RFP together.
Let's have a
And
motion.
that's the starting.
Make your motion.
I was going.
All right, I think we should move that, John approach the Board of Selectmen for permission to move forward with our, initial application.
I'll second that.
Or
So-
RFP.
Yes.
Permission to secure an RFP.
Any other discussion? All in favor, raise your hand. Opposed?
So who seconded that?
I did.
Okay, thank you.
So if you think what it would cost today, I think 5 years could change that a lot.
Yeah,
I
it
kidding?
could.
Of course.
It's already been 3 to 4 years since we got the initial one, and,
I can tell you the original construction of the dredging, the bulkhead and the pier was $795,000.
That's why they got
1952,
That was a lot of money.
54,
you couldn't even get a dredge to mobilize to come here for that.
and,
Did
okay,
the
but
short
anyways.
pilings get replaced?
What?
The short pilings get replaced from,
They're floating. I just spoke with the contractor. when the slips start emptying out enough, we're gonna schedule, I have 3 pilings that need to be driven.
What's inside is it on the main pier
They're wood with concrete and steel inside.
inside?
They're jacketed. The jackets are the reason why our pier is still in the condition that it's in.
It's the deck's in worse condition than the bottom, correct?
Oh, yeah, the deck. But we'll be able to do the same kind of thing.
Well, that's the other thing. We're probably gonna wanna raise it 2 to 4 feet.
Yeah.
We're gonna lose a couple of parking spots.
Definitely.
Gonna create a ramp type
Access,
access, so that's where we're gonna lose our couple of parking spaces in the process.
But I think we might be able to gain by eliminating the wood on the side, gain a little width for people to walk by, but because we can do the whole width, but then do rails up instead of the big blocks. So we can gain a couple feet without increasing our footprint.
We approved the yacht club to raise theirs 3 feet.
And that may be the number to go.
And our electrical still needs to be figured
The
out.
building will be 3 feet underwater, but the dock will be up.
No, the building's going up.
No, it's.
Oh, yeah.
okay, guys, I'm moving ahead. Howie, you had requested something about parking.
Yes, thanks, Rick. So the parking committee met over the summer and primarily we met because we wanted to encourage the police department to do their enforcement. So we were just kind of checking up to see how they had done and what was going on, and if there was anything we could do to help. And at that time, they reported that they've been regularly doing the patrols, and they had issued up to 90 tickets already. And this was like, the very end of July, maybe July 28th or something. And we felt really positive about the whole thing, and the committee feels, that it certainly has been a huge improvement, seeing that. And
Big improvement.
yeah, and I really want to say to Chris, thank you, Chris, for continuing to push on that,
Thank you.
Yeah, because that, I think that was like the last thing, and had we done that at the beginning, maybe we wouldn't have done all those other things, but I think all those other things really helped as well. So, in closing, I want to say that the committee would like to dissolve themselves, and finish, like we're finished as a parking committee. We feel we've done our job.
Nope, you're stuck with it, like Hotel California.
However,
We learned a lot along the way.
yeah, we did. Can I also say something about that?
Yeah,
Okay, it's that, I wanted to suggest. This is like slightly separate, but I wanted to suggest starting a new committee to write the, ordinance, to help change the ordinances that we're gonna propose in May.
why do you need a new committee? Why can't you keep the same committee?
Well, I wanna call a different name and then have the people.
Have you bless the board, you bless the committee.
And there might be different people that wanna participate, Rick. That's why.
Ordinance for what?
There are changes to the
We,
ordinance.
we have a lot of changes that we wanna make to the ordinance, and my,
Then I'll ask you to propose a motion, how you would like it worded.
I have a
Okay.
question about that. Why wouldn't the harbor committee do the ordinances?
Donna, I think that's perfectly reasonable. However, what I found to be the case is we talk about it, but then it's hard to get someone to write something down that brings it back so that we can agree upon it and do it. We got, 2 years ago, we asked a lot of questions of the lawyer, but I didn't see much change in the ordinances. So my idea was instead to make a small subcommittee, we tackle one thing at a time. We write it down and we present it to this committee to say, what do you think? And we keep on cycling through that and get through the ordinances that we want. And, maybe we get through 5 or 6 changes before we run out of time in May.
Because we ran out last year, we had a little head steam and we only got a few of the ideas down. So this way we have something, whoever wants to do it in writing.
Howie, would you present something in an October meeting?
Yes,
Okay,
yes. Oh, and there was one other thing. I wanted to write a letter of thanks to the police department for all of their support and help. And I would write that letter on behalf of you and you can sign it and.
No,
and do
on
whatever.
behalf of the harbor
Committee?
committee.
Yeah, on behalf of the harbor committee, exactly. So I'll present that.
That's a great idea.
Thank you.
I was just gonna say that I think lining those farmer market stalls has been,
It solved a lot of problems.
made a big difference.
Rodney, you got something for Seal Harbor, or you just like?
Well, yeah,
We're saying it's an easy development.
well, he's hurt. He got hurt, broke his ankle on that freaking ramp over there.
Who did?
Sammy Blanchard. He was dragging bait, because we still don't have a hoist over there. No power on the dock, so he was dragging bait down the dock, he was looking and. The ramp wasn't on the double, and he stepped on the edge of the double, and broke his ankle, been laid up 6 weeks. And,
You know, it's because it's cockeyed, so.
he's, I see John or somebody went and put some pieces of spruce, and that's helped some, but,
And we had it realigned again.
yeah,
It's been a little bit of a,
looks like it's staying on.
Yeah,
it
looks
is,
better.
we think we finally got it, but it's been a little bit of a switching game with where we adjusted the whole unit. So
Yeah,
all the
yeah.
stones, so he's been back, I think he was back 3 or 4 times before we finally got it right.
Right, well, it's good, it is better than it was. But the skip float never got the mooring on the north end, so on a westerly, northwest wind, that whole raft sags over a shore, close to the shore. And, last meeting, you were saying that you were waiting for a diver.
Yeah, the same guys are supposed to have a diver over there to reconfigure that and rehook up that. Mooring,
So,
because it never
anybody
happened.
called them, said, hey, what is
I
it?
dive, but I can't dive for the town,
No, but I
you
mean,
know, I fix it myself, but I.
Mike Olson will do it.
I go, yeah, anybody.
He's a certified diver for
Oh,
the town.
all it needs is a dive, then anybody can get a dive. But there was the same issue with the skip float, the outboards up, my skip is getting stove all to pieces too. And, if it's a town ordinance, that it should include Seal Harbor, right? Or not?
So you've got a sign over there, you've seen the sign, is it still there?
Yeah,
It's still there, so here's the,
No, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I don't mean the horsepower, I mean, I saw that, but I mean the outboard being up.
okay, no,
That's not in our.
it's not in our ordinance,
Oh, it isn't?
No,
and the 14 feet and under thing really only is written for Northeast Harbor. So I put the signs out, but I really don't have any teeth, that's another ordinance adjustment that we need to include Seal Harbor and Bartlett's in that language, because it
Why,
really.
why would it be just the town? of Mount
Because the original harbor ordinance, there used to be harbor regulations, and there used to be 2 separate forms of regulations and an ordinance. The ordinance was just kind of broad for generic stuff, and the harbor ordinance was written for Northeast Harbor only. And when everything got brought over into the ordinance, the language never got changed to include that Seal Harbor and Bartlett's name in there. I've put the signs up and I'm doing what I can,
right,
but
So
it's
is
not,
that something that has to go to the select?
that's something that we need to adjust and add Seal Harbor and Bartlett in that particular part of the ordinance. So.
it's on my list to do.
So that the 14 foot and the 25 horses truly rule in those other 2 harbors. There is nothing in the ordinance as far as I know about the motors up or down.
I say, is that something we could add?
It sure is.
It doesn't-
But we're gonna have rewrite the ordinances.
For Northeast, but.
No, for everyone, every
Catamount.
We need to get rid of the harbor, Northeast Harbor, Seal Harbor, Bartlett thing, and make it say like all the harbors within the town of Mount Desert.
Yeah.
So it just says public flow. And the public flow doesn't dictate, the only thing it says about Northeast Harbor is that you have to have a decal Northeast Harbor. It just says public flow, behind the public flow.
There's some language that needs to be cleaned up.
We're gonna address, you could enforce it, it's just a public. flow.
Yeah, but not for Seal Harbor.
I agree. I
Seal
read
Harbor
it.
and Bartlett's are, it really is geared and written specifically for Northeast Harbor.
Yeah, we'll clarify that.
Yeah, we're just catching up with,
But
as those harbors have grown and been ignored for years. That's really what it is.
And just so you know, also, on the main flow, the shaft is coming out of the barren, that barren, I measured it today, actually. Only probably.
One of the first ones we're going.
it won't come out,
That's low hanging.
And John, here,
Low hanging fruit.
Yeah.
because there's not enough room for it to come out.
Really?
It won't, it goes up against the roller before it will come out.
But then it'll be grinding on the barren.
Well, the barons get replaced every year anyways, they don't last.
All right. And the final thing, what is going on with the power?
If you really want my honest answer, I think your neighbors on Ringing Point are the reason why you don't have power. We met with Versant Power in May. They approved rehooking up that line as long as we put a big granite block in front of that pole. That was there within 3 or 4 days. They kept pushing back and pushing back and pushing back, and I think your neighbor on Ringing Point decided that they really don't want our power going across their property, and I think they strong-armed Versant into canceling what they said they would originally do. Now, we're waiting on a few more permits for the new pole to be drilled and put in place right next to the loading zone. That first permit was approved by the selectmen at their last meeting. Brian Henkel is working on the other 2 or 3 permits required to put a pole in place.
How does they have that much horsepower?
The power goes across their property, so,
Yeah, but it has for years.
yeah, I know it has, but that was their window of opportunity when that power got cut because of the
You're dealing with a
January 10th
different owner.
storm.
But yeah, but you still thought with this
So,
person would have an easement across that property.
So, it had to be
I'm sure they have.
reconnected at that point and, pushing the right buttons at Versant,
where are they gonna put the pole then? You said
it's gonna go right next to the corner of, the loading zone. You're gonna get a parking spot back and you're gonna lose a foot or so of your,
You're talking the
loading
northwest
zone.
corner where we come in and get low trapped on the right side.
Yeah, if you took
It's
the
on that
pole,
north
you took
end
the
of the-
pole where it is and you slid it over to the edge of the line, that's where it's gonna go. So you're gonna actually gain a parking spot back when it moves, but
So that's not gonna hinder the loading. zone.
it's not gonna hinder your loading zone.
So when is that gonna happen before? we
That's a
have
good
start
question.
contracting?
That's I call and talk to them on a frequent basis. I talked to Brian the other day. He's waiting on the other 2 or 3 permits that are required to take place before Versant will put that pole on the ground.
Well,
The highway crew, once given the okay, is gonna go over there and dig the hole. Versant or MCM can actually set the pole and it's gonna be concreted in, there'll be no guide wire. Because of the concreting. And the power has already been pre-run to rehook everything up, it's just waiting for,
I saw that. Did you see?
I did, and I sent Mike
It
a
looked like they were
picture, I
done by
said.
Jerry's kids. Who did it?
I don't know, I sent Mike a photo of it when I saw it, and he said that it will be righted before the power is turned on. I don't know what happened there, but they were trying to prep, because I kept pushing them, asking what's going on, and, I mean, I even called Versant one day with Tommy sitting there in a chair across from me, and, he heard everything, and it just,
Okay, guys.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for
but it is, I've been told there's high hopes that it will be in place and active before you guys start pulling traps.
Good, good. Okay, thank
Can we
you.
put a high beam security light towards Ringing Point just to keep us all safe?
will you come back next month, make sure we know we're on top of this?
Sure.
I just feel bad for them.
No, I do too. I mean, it's
Yeah.
unfortunate, we had an agreement for it to all be done back in May, and they just kept pushing me back, giving me excuses. And then finally, they just come out and said, we won't hook power back to that hole, and I got a pretty good idea why.
All right, we're gonna move along.
What about the bathrooms, the rest station?
So the thought is from Brian is it's gonna cost about $100,000 to $120,000 to put that old set of bathrooms back in place. His new thought is we're gonna see more storms like we saw, and it's very possible that that could get fixed and get wiped by the next storm. So they make portable restrooms that hook into water. They're full flushable toilets. And at the end of the season, when they're shut down, the whole unit can be moved and taken to a safe location and parked until they need to be brought back. They'd be fully handicap accessible. They would have running water and regular toilets, just like anything else that was there. And I think it's a good idea.
I've been to like concerts, you know, where you pay for like premium
Yeah.
tickets. And it's like the bathroom is like, you know, though it's a porta potty, it's like a bathroom in your house. Is that kind of what this is like?
Yes, it would.
Yeah, it's
yeah.
like a
And this
elite
would
kind of thing.
not be a rental thing either, I don't think. I
Yeah.
think this would be something that the town would purchase, and it could be stored up at the empty parking lot that sits there all winter. And be brought back in the spring and replumbed back in, and
I'd say in general that, you know, it's not
I
as
think it's a
cute.
smart choice.
Yeah, it's not as cute as what we had, but I think it's really practical.
So the building that's there now,
Oh, God.
It
you could
may-
take it over to my house and store it.
It may go away, I don't know, but that was one of Brian's thoughts, and I agreed that it sounded like a good idea. Obviously, it has to go in front of the selectmen when it's comes down to it,
Well,
but
that building that's there now, we could rent out for food trucks.
Could, Sammy Blanchard's wife could sell hot dogs down there.
Hey, John, I did notice too, in reviewing this, we talked about the public float, it does say in here that violators, people without stickers. May be fined according to Article X, and the vessel may be removed at owner's expense and risk covering. So you've got it's between finding and you can remove the repeat offenders without stickers, you can make a big push there and get trained to. Yes.
we just gotta
Or the
figure
commercial
out
will get a transfer
where
tax.
and how.
Why do you have stickers if it's free?
No, we go.
So it's easier for them to monitor where they're parking.
Yeah, but you have people coming in for 2 nights.
But this is just for the commercial dog.
It's for the
Oh, I
commercial
thought you were
dinghy
talking
tie
about
up.
Dinghy dog.
No, we don't,
Commercial thing.
Oh, okay.
that'd be,
Oh,
and it's quite a job with just the other things, cause you get people that come in that have never been there, that come in and tie up to that, they see dinghies, they come in and tie up. There's no real good
Yeah, but
sign there
the
that tells them that this is,
The ones that have it figured out are from Cranberry Island.
Yeah, the commuter boats, there's 15 of them that don't get permits, they're there all season long. We can take care of it.
Half of them. Everybody fights for that end, you look down towards the ramp and it's wide open, and everybody wants to be on that corner closest to their mooring.
Well, that 15-minute tie-up area on the end is quite often, you can't get in there now. It's-
Cause everybody.
It's
wants to
tied
be on
around
that
there.
cleat.
All right, folks.
Alright. Motion to adjourn?
one other quick little thing, you asked some questions about money and the loan and everything for the buildings that we have now. That was a 20-year bond, it was started in 2012. 2032, it would be completely paid off, but the principal is down to roughly $100,000. The interest initially was like $150,000 a year. I think the interest payment now is down under $20,000. So it won't be paid off till 2032, but in 5 years from now, we're gonna be, you know, at what, 2029?
But
2028,
that's what I'm saying, we need to know for a couple.
but we'll be fairly close to the end of that loan. And it will be down to basically just principal payment at that time.
But what I'm saying is for those 2 years, maybe we should be setting something aside where we'll be paying 2 bond payments.
We are, everything that doesn't already get allocated to a budget or a CIP line, all our overages goes into the undesignated fund, and that's, like I said, that's where the 400 and something thousand dollars that we just paid for this last project came from.
Right, but between
There's
our
probably,
revenues and that, we wanna know.
if I had to guess, there's $400,000 to $600,000 sitting there right now. But I can get you exact numbers for next meeting.
When we have those few years, we might not take that whole 400,000, put it towards the project, we might need that
Well,
to help pay the double bond
that's
payment.
the other piece of this. When we initially did this, the selectmen were worried we weren't gonna be able to pay our bills. They took $600,000 of our undesignated fund and basically set it aside in the undesignated fund and said, you can't touch this money. Cause this is our insurance policy that you're gonna pay your bond every year. It's never been a problem, so I don't know when we do that again, if they're gonna want us to hold some sort of money back just in case something happens. But I don't think it should have to be that amount of money again, because we've proven ourselves.
And who, the finance director, who tells us all that, or we figure that out for,
That tells us how much money we have, and
yeah, who's gonna crunch the numbers and what?
I'll request the amount that's in our undesignated funds, so you know what we currently have. The rest of the numbers will all depend on, I mean, I can get the exact date on the loan ending.
But we need someone with some kind of accounting skills in this to give us, you know, what we're gonna have to pay, what we owe, what we have, what our revenue stream is.
What do you mean, what a new bond is gonna cost us?
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I could get her to give us, guesstimates on what bonds are going for right now and what type of money. We would be looking at paying
I think
on a
you're getting way
20-year
ahead of
bond.
yourself, John.
Yeah, you don't have to.
You know, we don't need that right now.
No,
It's all speculation.
but I can get you the amount of money we currently hold in our funds and.
yeah, but what we have, we can't get to the point, then the contractor holds us over the barrel, then we're double the cost, you know, like we happened on this last project. You know,
Financing's not gonna be a problem for us.
alright,
And we'll be borrowing potentially. If it comes in at 2 million, we'd be borrowing less than what we borrowed to do this project down there. I think we borrowed 2.2 or 3.
If that's only 2 million,
Yeah.
that's only 2 million, I
Gonna
don't
be
be.
a drop in the bucket. Yeah.
What, on the, you talked about on the raising the pier up 3 feet, and then having,
2 to 4 feet.
and then having a,
We'd have to have some sort of ramp to get up to that level
oh, you mean also, yeah,
out of the parking lot.
but then going out to the float, you're gonna need a longer,
Well, we'll have new ramps built in this process anyways, but
$50.
they would have to be longer and the ramp is potentially going to go way out further onto the commercial dock than what it currently does.
yeah.
and they might be smart to look at a time in the front there, raising the front. You know, having a little more of a seawall in the front on either side of it.
Motion to adjourn, please.
I made that a while ago.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Seconded,
Second.
all in favor?
No
Raise your hand.
discussion?
No opposed. Thank you very much.